Representing the 10 Ward Mob Squad.
Here's the story of Tommy Silverstein, aka Terrible Tommy. Sit back, get your popcorns, and enjoy the documentary.
Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Are you the beast that has left me in a cell for nearly 40 years? Are you the BOP? Are you the warden? Are you the BOP director? Who are you that asked me such a question? But because you've asked, I'll tell you who I am. I am a man who has been held in solitary confinement for the past 10,228 days, which is 336 months and or 28 years. I am a man who has spent more than half of his life in solitary confinement. I, sir, am Thomas Edward Silverstein, register number 14634-116. At the age of 67 years old on May 11, 2019, I said goodbye to this forever pain, taking my last breath, bound and shackled by your system of justice. At the time of this writing, it had been 28 years. You can add on another 8 before I died, that I was left in this cell. Why did you do what you did, Mr. Silverstein? You want an answer? I want an answer as to why you left me locked in a cell for nearly 40 years, with no compassion, with no remorse. Why did you leave me locked in a cell when it was clear that I had been rehabilitated, that I had changed my character, when it was clear that I was no longer a threat to the safety or security of any facility? Why did you leave me like this? Why have you locked so many men just like me up in a cage, left alone to suffer? Because the punishment was long done, many years ago. But instead, you continued to inflict punishment. The nature and impact of the harsh conditions I have endured in spite of a spotless conduct record for over 22 years, and my lack of knowledge about what, if anything, I can do to lessen my isolation. Nevertheless, I feel it would be disrespectful to say anything about my conditions of confinement without beginning with an apology for the actions that brought me here in the first place. An apology for the harm I have done is necessary before anything else can be said. Not a single one of the 1,000 days I've been here has gone by where I have not regretted the actions that brought me here. Every day, I think back and wish I had not killed Officer Klutz. I know that some people will continue to find this hard to believe, but I want it to be understood that it is not only because of my confinement that I feel this regret. I feel this way because I know what I did was wrong. I have become a person who recognizes and respects the value of the life of another. People can and do change. I know I have. And I have become someone who is deeply sorry for having done such terrible harm to others. I saw the Klutz family once at my sentencing hearing. Until that moment, I had never thought of Officer Klutz as having a family. As soon as I saw his children, I recognized that I had hurt more people than just Officer Klutz. I wondered about his kids regularly and hope that they are okay and have been able to start families of their own. I have apologized publicly via my blog to Officer Klutz's children. I know his daughter saw my apology because she replied on the blog. Although I apologized, I would never have presumed to ask for their forgiveness, as what I did to them was unforgivable. But I wish for it just the same, and I wish I could repair the damage that I have done to other people's lives. I also regret my actions because they have harmed my own children. They have suffered because their father was not there for them. There's almost nothing as difficult and painful as knowing your children are suffering and knowing that you are the cause. I feel guilty about this every day. And when I feel pain for having not been there for my own children, I know that I also did this to Officer Klutz's children. I am the reason they, like my own children, grew up without a father, and I'm sorry for that. When I look back now, it is hard for me to understand how I made the choices I did. There is no justification for my actions. I wish I could go back and stop myself, though I know this is impossible. I recognize the pain I have caused others, including my own family and children. And in response to that, I have worked hard to become a different man. Although I cannot repair the damage I caused, I am committed to nonviolence. It is a promise I have made to myself and one that I hope honors those I have hurt. It is a promise I have every intention of keeping. I understand that I deserve to be punished for my actions, and I do not expect ever to be released from prison. My hope is simply to be allowed, like other prisoners, to earn the privileges that are warranted by my consistent good conduct. I do not consider myself to be part of any prison gang, nor do I want to be part of any prison gang. I just want to serve out the remainder of my time peacefully, with other mature guys doing their time. The BOP has singled me out and treated me differently. Although the Federal Bureau of Prisons suggests that I'm irrational to think that they are singling me out, I do not agree. I believe that is what they have been doing, and I can understand why they would do it. I believe I have been treated worse than any prisoner in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. I read in Dr. Haney's report that I am the most isolated prisoner he has ever seen. It sometimes seems that the BOP is trying to test me, to provoke bad behavior so that they can justify their treatment of me. For example, when mentally ill people who scream all night are placed in my unit, it feels like the BOP is trying to see if they can make me break a rule. I tolerate the incessant noise, though, because I don't want to break the rules. I want to earn my way out of solitary. I also believe that the BOP has purposely put known informants in cells and recreation areas around me in order to see if they can discover any negative information about me. But there is nothing to know, as I am simply trying to follow the rules. Since I have had clear conduct for decades, I do not know why I would continue to be held in isolation, except for the BOP's desire to make me suffer. For decades, year after year, I have tried to demonstrate that I am no longer the man I was in Marion. I have done, and continue to do, everything I can think of, and all that the Bureau has asked to show I have changed and should be given relief from my isolation. I follow the rules. I am respectful and polite. I watch the programs they tell me to see. I have tried in every way I can think of to demonstrate that I have no intentions to ever hurt anyone. In addition to these efforts I have made, there is another reality I hope will be considered. I am quickly becoming an old man. I spend most of my days crocheting items for my family and my legal counsel and working on my artwork. It is hard to reconcile the BOP's description of me as frightening and scary, when the people who see me here know I am a man peering through bifocals, trying to count the number of stitches to make an Afghan. Although I think the way some officers have treated me is a violation of BOP rules, I understand.
All right, that was Tommy Silverstein, a.k.a. Terrible Tommy, a violent white supremacist who was believed to have been held in solitary confinement longer than any other Afro-American or Caucasian inmate in federal prison. More than half his life, he died on May 11 in a hospital in Lakewood, Colorado. Terrible Tommy was 67 years old. His hospitalization had been his first, despite from solitary confinement, since 1987. Fairly to say, he was a healthy man. In the intervening years, he had come to personify a campaign against extended isolation as cruel and unusual punishment. His death at St. Anthony Hospital was the last of Tommy.
STP.